Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This week we're going to be doing a backcountry exploration of woodland or forest photography, and then we'll go through a edit process and you can look into some of those decisions I'm making and get to know more of the Luminar Neo that I'm using to do those editing decisions with, and then we'll wrap it all up just like last time with sharing those photos with you on screen. Okay, here I am back in the deep in the Canadian woods, as you can see. No, not really. I'm just on a trail in my town. We have some really good green spaces and pathway systems here, and this is just one of them. And I thought I'd come in here and take a few photos. It's a bit of a rainy day. It's been the rainiest season in decades here this summer. It's been wonderful. Anyways, here I am going to take some shots and then I'll share them later in the video. Just look at that forest floor. Love it. Okay, I think I got some good shots there. We'll see. I'll edit them later and see how they look on the computer, and we'll share them to you, good or bad. See how they go. Right, so here we are in Luminar Neo. I pulled up the images that I've taken from today's photos in the woods. You can see, I'll just go through some of the main ones that I've got. It's kind of a good range. And we're going to be going through these. Maybe we'll do some editing on these and then we'll get you the final results as a grouping, all of them together at the end. I won't edit them all for you as a process because that'll be a waste of your time, but you'll get the idea with one or two, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So maybe let's concentrate on this one for now. I really like this one. For some reason, I love trees that cross over a trail or a pass. Kind of looks a bit gateway-like to me, which I always find interesting. You've got two paths forking, and you've got a tree crossing both of them, one sort of more in the distance, an even bigger tree. So that could be an interesting one to edit. So maybe let's have a go at that. You can see here in Luminar Neo that it's got really good tie-ins with the various cameras and lenses. So you can see it's picked up the camera. I don't know if you can see my cursor. It's picked up my camera, which is a Canon 6D. I'm using a 24 to 105 millimeter f4 lens, and I think, oh yeah, I had it on 40 millimeters here, shooting in the darker wood. It looks like it. I've got the ISO set to automatic. Um, Lots of opinion on that, but I don't care. Like this editing suite will handle the noise nicely, so I'm not afraid of that. Um, so it's nice to just be able to see the roundup of what you've done after a photo shoot, and just kind of has all that information, which is kind of nice. You can also double click here or click like that, and you can see thumbnails of more images, like your whole collection in that folder or whatever album you've got set up. But um, I typically like to look at them a bit bigger. So let's go over into the Edit tab, and that's going to pull up all the options and sections here on the right, as you can see. It's got pretty good lighting and pretty good contrast and pretty good everything. You can see from the histogram up here that it's looking pretty good already. And I don't know if I mentioned this in my first video, which was kind of all over the place, but here, if you press J, you will get an overlay of blown highlights and shadows, and it appears as red or blue, like an overlay. But so if we go to develop, and I'm just going to show you those camera tie-ins that I was mentioning earlier. If we click on here, it'll show the profile, and you can pick some sort of normal looks and profiles that it gives the photo. And I always just pick camera faithful because I want it to sort of be the most like what I was seeing at the time. And so I've picked mine, which ties in. You can see it's Canon 6D. So that's in the list. It's an older camera, so it's really great that it's in there. A lot of you probably have newer cameras, and they're definitely in there, so that's useful. Anyways, once I did that, you could see immediately here's this color overlay that I accessed with Jay, and that's sort of the only overly shadowed area of the image, which I don't think is bad, and I don't mind having some really dark appearing in a dark forest section. That makes sense. But anyways, I always like to reduce highlights first. That's just one of the first things I do. I don't know why, but I always like to reduce highlights first. And then in this situation, I'll probably increase shadow a little bit. And then because I've done globally increasing the shadow, oops, wrong one, that's color. I'll just reintroduce a little bit dark and back in the blacks, and just tweak between those two until I like what I see. I like this where it's going so far. So, oh, and I usually add some contrast. So I'll add, a little bit here. That's up through here on the hill. That's giving some nice contrast up there, which is good. Then let's maneuver down to color, and I'll just increase the vibrance. It's going to make the ground look super. Like this will be a photo that you really have to be careful with that toxic green. So I'm going to be careful with that. But just a general increase of the vibrance there is good. And then I always go to optics, and I click on these to correct for lens distortion and all that jazz. And again, that's why it's useful that it ties in with your specific camera, because it knows specifically what distortion corrections to look for. And then having done all that, I think I might play around with the cropping. Problem with this one is if I reduce the crop from the left, I'm going to lose this hill, which I really like. So probably, and we don't want to lose too much of the trail as it moves into the picture. It sort of guides us into it. So maybe, and we've got this root structure which trails off down here towards the right, which we don't want to lose too much. So I think maybe I'll move closer in on this side a little bit. And that's not a bad junction with these rule of thirds, which again, I'm not slavish to, but that's kind of like the synergy sometimes. It's interesting that it ties up with this tree, which I said I like going across this path. And on this side, you can see where the path would go up here. It crosses there. So kind of like that. So let's hit apply. And then we can zoom really far in, and you can get really close in. I mean, as I get closer and closer in, it's nice mushrooms there. It's getting blurry. It's losing definition, but it's not really super noisy. I probably will do some denoising, but for now that's all right. You can see a blown highlight there, so I may just reduce highlights a little bit more. Let's go all the way, and there's still some shadows here, but that's all right. So I think I might play with the color a little bit. And for this one, I think I will, what shall we do? Let's go down to the color tab. This color section is within the develop tab, which is part of the raw files. So we're playing with the color that was brought into the picture originally. There's another color tab down here, which is sort of over and above what's in the raw information that you can then play with. So I rarely play with the hue. I might use that more for like night photography if I want to introduce like a sort of a greenish cinematic hue, or play with the tungsten of the imagery. But here we are with, let's just play. We'll reduce the green a little bit. And that's looking a bit grayed out. But then if we whack up the yellow, I think that will, I don't know, let's just see the before and after. So it's just toned it down a little bit, but I don't think we've lost too much. And we've introduced a little bit of a yellow tint as well as the green, so it gives a little bit of variance. In this situation, I might like to really try out the orange, and then that's going to pick up some of the debris in the foreground. It's going to pick up, other details in the wood, like you can see here. So I don't mind that. Sometimes I'll even try jamming up the red and pick up. Although, in fact, I don't like that. I don't mind that, so I'll just leave it. And then on this situation, we might want to decide what we want to do with both vignetting and stuff like that. Our focus is the path as it winds up through here, but I also don't want to lose too much in here. So what I might do is I might introduce a bit of blur. So let's go to the blur tab. We'll go to the masking tab. I think in this case we'll go to a linear gradient, and we'll pull it like that. This makes it soft. Like you could see, that would be a really harsh line of blur, and then normal. And this just bleeds it out a little bit. So you can adjust that however you want it, and you can adjust the angle, as you can see. So let's take it there. Maybe we'll bleed it off a little bit more. Drag that back. And then I'm just going to blur that with a Gaussian blur pretty minutely. Maybe a little bit more. Let's go to 5. Maybe even down 1 to 4. And that, do you see how that's nice? Because we don't care about this little bit in the foreground. We want people to follow the trail through up here, and then you can see there's a lot of stuff going on in this photo. There really is. It's a forest. Forest photography is really chaotic. We've got a really interesting hill with moss and trees growing out of it. We've got trees that are growing at weird angles. We've got a cool stone here. We've got a very straight normal tree, but it's got a nice root system. We've got a path. We've got another tree that's going over. So there's a lot going on. So maybe what I will do is I'll add a vignette. Let's just see what happens. All right, and now we'll go to make it super strong. That's fine. Let's just see what that does. Okay, see if we like that. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I don't mind that. And then I think I'll go and I'm going to hit the super sharp thing, and I'm going to do sort of the opposite I did with the blurring effect.
I'm going to make a radial gradient. I'm going to change the shape of it how I want. Rotate it. Oh.
And what I might do is just pick out a few additional things to add it to that, like the trees. And I'm going to just add it in, and you'll see what this does. You can just, I'm going to hit shift while I'm doing this, and it's just going to pick out these additional trees. I think, there we go. There.
Sure.
All right, I think that's good. Now let's go to adjustment. I'm going to just hit low. Let's see what happens. This might take a while.
Oh.
So I'll speed it up on the thing, and we'll come back. All right, let's do it before and after. yeah, I mean, it's sharpening up these trees a little bit, sharpening up detail in here. But think, I almost think I want to add a little bit more crop. Okay, I just went ahead a little bit and worked on this because I'm glitching out of it. So I just kind of restarted it and then I cropped in where I wanted the crop to go. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to show you this one feature that, or a couple of features. So what you can do on this program is there's a couple of icons at the bottom, just above the thumbnails of the album, which I haven't got included in the screen grab, but I'll just click them for you and describe them. There is a before and after, so that's where we were at the beginning, and that's where we are now. And you can even see the distortion of the lens being corrected that we did. And they also have this neat thing where you can see like a slider of before and after. And sometimes that's pretty cool. So it helps you see this detail and this nice contrast here. And just, yeah, I think I made some good choices with the edits. Like contrast is better and a bit richer. So yeah. Anyways, I think I'll save that one and I'll work on some of these others from this shoot, and then I'll get those into the video and you can see all of those. Okay, here's the final result of these images. I hope you liked those. They're, um, I think, a good range, and I think they turned out well. Especially love the ones with the floor of moss, and this final one with the path that we edited together. Um, and the long exposure water one was kind of fun too. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that video and the processes involved and some of the final results. Certainly was fun. This one came about pretty quickly to do because it was just a local trek, as I explained. And yeah, it just highlights the fact that you can you can find some pretty amazing shots right in your own backyard. And I have amazing scenery all around me, but I don't even need to necessarily go and visit it all. I can sometimes get some amazing stuff locally. Well, I found it amazing. Uh, Hopefully you will too. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. Stay tuned for my next video. I don't know when that will be. I mean, this one looks as if it's going to be about a week apart, but I don't know if I'm always going to be able to stick to a weekly video. It might be bi-weekly, maybe even monthly over our dreaded winter, which I just loathe the idea is around the corner. A little while away, but we still have the great full colors to look forward to. So there'll probably be a video about that somewhere. But anyways, thanks again and see you soon.